Getaway.
It's 2025 and we already started off with a major change. As you can see, there's some subtle differences on the P-Series. In fact, this is not the same car. We have made a major change to the vehicle and actually bought a different car. So let's get that out the way. But why did I sell my other rig? Well, stay tuned and we'll go over that a bit later. We are at Koranna Getaway. It's around 200 kilometers from where I live in Bloemfontein. And I thought it would be a nice place to come and bring the wife and the doggo Ash out to come and enjoy a nice time away from the city. And also record this video. There's also been some additional changes. For one, we actually got married, so I can actually call wife now, so that was awesome. We also went on a 4x4 course with the old P-Series, or Canon, or whatever you want to call it. That was awesome. I'll include some footage of that and we'll maybe talk about that a bit later. And yeah, and then after that we got married and then we went on honeymoon, and on the honeymoon we traveled all over the place. So we'll touch on those things a bit later in the video. The other thing that we'll go over is what are we planning for 2025 and where do we go from here with the channel. Alright, with all that out the way, we're going to go over the car in just a bit because there's quite a few. Now, I should probably let you know what vehicle this is. This is the Great Wall P-Series, also a P-Series, also a Boer or Canon. But this is the LTD or limited edition. In Australia they call it the XRS, something like that. And yeah, it's just a more 4x4 capable version. It comes with a bunch of extras. Yeah, we'll get into that at some point. Still got the old drone, the original Mavic Mini. One thing that did happen to it is it fell. What did it do? It nosedived into the ground, love. What happened to it? It fell into the ground.
You flew it into yourself.
Yes, okay. So I flew the drone into myself. Don't ask me how I got that right. I think I was being overly confident, and it fell onto the ground, and then this gizmo over here, the gimbal for the camera, got some sand in it, and so it's been very jerky, but I think I got most of it out. One of the big changes is it's got a different transfer case in it. Now it's got a Borg Warner, forgot the exact model, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. And this transfer case is a part-time 4x4. So where the previous P-Series was more like a torque-on-demand system, which worked great. I didn't have an issue with the 4x4. Or I didn't have an issue with the transfer case. But this is a more traditional part-time 4x4. It's got different modes that you can choose from, and then it locks this into different, so on and so forth. I have tested it out somewhat and it works great. It's maybe something I have to get used to. On the LTD or the limited edition is steel bumpers front and back, so I no longer have that big rugged bar on the front like I had on my old vehicle, and I have a reason for that, and we'll get into that a bit later. But at least I've got a rear steel bumper. It's got some recovery points. I don't know what they rated at, but I think it looks pretty cool. So that's another change with this one. Another change is the brake calipers are painted red. That's it. They're not different in any way. They painted red. In South Africa, it comes fitted stock with a winch, and it's a decent winch. I can't remember exactly which type of winch it is, but I will put it on the screen. Can't remember really. But yeah, that's great. I think the guys in Australia, sorry guys, you get a sunroof. Now, something important I keep failing to mention in this video is that this car comes with rear and front differential locks, and this makes a huge difference in the 4x4 capabilities. The front boot badge is now smaller and no longer obstructs a quarter of the grille, which is a nice improvement. It comes with beautiful new rims and, as standard, one size bigger tires compared to other variants. It also comes fitted with a snorkel straight from factory, a mean new grille with tons of airflow, and this gives it a more aggressive and functional look. Then there are the roof rails, which I have no idea how to use. It's got steel side steps, but for some reason they're not connected to the chassis but rather to the body, so this might be a potential future modification. And finally, it comes factory fitted with bash plates. Now, in terms of the features, this model has everything the other variants have, except for rear cross traffic alert and blind spot monitoring. I get that there's a different rear bumper where the sensors were originally located, but surely you could have made a plan to keep those features. Anyway, I digress. Now for the new part-time transfer case. It comes with the usual modes you expect, 4 low, 2 high and 4 high, and then on top of that you get dedicated driving modes for sand, snow and mud. It also comes with a feature called cross-country cruise control, but it can only be used in 4 low. I was really hoping for this to work in 4 high, but that's not the case. The reason I would have liked that is because the regular cruise control can't go below 30 km per hour. Sometimes, especially on game drives, I'd like to cruise around 20 km per hour, but that's just me being picky. Now, another feature is the tank turn, and here's how it works. If you're in 4 low with cross-country cruise control activated, when you turn right, for example, it applies the brake to the rear right wheel to sharpen the turning circle. From what I understand, you shouldn't be turning sharply in 4 low in the first place, so that's something to think about, but I'll definitely be testing this in the future. You can also turn off all the assists from the infotainment system, and it's got another feature called off-road thermal management. I have no idea what this does. Maybe it makes the fan run harder and longer. I checked in the manual, I couldn't find anything about it, so if anyone knows what this actually does, please let me know. Let's go. Let's hit the trail. Oh, he's tired. Got the vents down here. He's a good boy. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. This is the same monitoring tool I used in the old vehicle, and I just keep this around to keep track of my intake air temperature, load, my transmission temperature and my coolant temperature. And then this over here is my exhaust gas temperature. Now I couldn't find the exhaust gas temperature sensor within the app. So this is actually turbo inlet temperature, but it's not that far away from the exhaust manifold. So this should be quite accurate actually. And then we're driving in like a meadowy area, so this is where Tracks for Africa really comes in handy, and not just this type of area. If you're navigating someone's farm or any type of 4x4 trail, if it's on Tracks for Africa, you'll be able to see exactly where you are. And maybe you can see now, we are in this area. There's actually a mud crossing as well, but we're there, and we're probably going to continue driving southbound. So yeah, pretty cool. say we lost, but this looks like a track, but it's so deep. There's no way I'll have the clearance to drive this track. And the other track just ends right there. So, but right now it's very unclear. Even tracks just drive straight, but there's a tree in the road. So we walked the trail a bit, and that was okay because I can kind of straddle the ruts. But over here, this is a problem because this is pretty deep. I do have a winch, but there's no place for me to winch off of. It's quite long, so I can probably get it to that tree. And but it's not something I want to struggle with right now. So we are going to drive back the way we came and see if we can find a different route. Yeah, so the bushes are really low here. I'm not sure if we are even on the correct trail. According to tracks, we are on a trail. But anyway, we cut it a bit, or I moved some of them out the way, and I'm going to try to navigate through this now. I mean, it is expected to get a few scratches, as much as I hate it. It comes with the territory. So we're turning around again and heading back. The route is just not maintained at all, so we might not be on the actual route. We're gonna backtrack a bit and get back to the main road, and then we'll take it again from there. But yeah, what an adventure! As you can see, there's not much road. We tried going up here. Because we actually met I presume it's one of the owners of the farm, and we had a bit of a chat with him. He gave us some pointers, because every time we hit a trail, it kind of comes to an end. On their website it shows that the plateau route is 22 kilometers or something. But anyway, it just seems like it's overgrown at the moment. And yeah, you can see there's not really much of a road going anywhere. We went this way, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I think it's just the nature of the farm. It's just how it is. So he said we can drive where we feel like, and that's basically what we're doing now. We went through here and we tried to see where we could go. Didn't have much options, so now we're going back. I think what we want to do is we want to go to the dam and just hang out there. After some scouting around, we found a nice spot to hang out for lunch, and of course Ash didn't hesitate to jump straight into the water to cool down, which, to be honest, was probably the best decision considering how hot it was. Now, I was really curious to see how long it takes us to set up the Bundu canopy and the camp later on, so I timed everything to get a good solid idea and to share it with you. On a day this hot, the Bundu canopy was an absolute lifesaver, providing some much needed shade and relief from the sun. I haven't spoken much about the Bundu canopy, and that's because, well, I've only used it twice so far. Now, it doesn't set up as easy as one of those high-end awnings that just swing open, but it doesn't take too long either. As you saw from my previous timer, it took around 9 minutes to set up, and that's not bad at all. And I'm pretty sure we can get that time down with a bit more practice. One thing I can definitely confirm is that the canvas quality on the Bundu canopy is impressive. You can feel it's really thick and weather resistant. The setup is quite simple, and so is the packing away. You get a little aluminium bracket that you can attach anywhere on your vehicle. The Bundu canopy just slides into place and you can comfortably leave it mounted. In fact, that's exactly what I do. I just leave it attached to the vehicle and I've never had a problem. The bag is the perfect size, so when you pack up you don't struggle getting everything fitted back in. If you're looking for some decent shelter on a budget, I can highly recommend the Tenco Bundu canopy. Packing away was actually pretty quick, it took around 6 minutes, so that's not bad at all. After spending some time at the dam, having lunch and just soaking in the surroundings, it was time to move on to the next section of the adventure. We made our way to the start of the Kloof 4x4 route, and as much as I wanted to experience driving it, we simply didn't have the time or resources. So instead we decided to walk a small section of it, just to get a feel for what the trail's all about. This is an intimidating route, rated at grade 5. So for those who don't know, in South Africa 4x4 trails are graded on a scale from 1 to 5. Grade 1 is easy gravel roads, suitable for any vehicle. Grade 2 is basic off-road tracks requiring high ground clearance. Grade 3 is more technical, needing 4x4, good ground clearance and some driver's skill. Grade 4 is challenging obstacles requiring low range gearing, diff locks and an experienced driver. Grade 5 is extreme off-roading, only for highly modified 4x4s with proper recovery gear and skilled drivers. So a grade 5 trail like this is best suited for a dedicated 4x4 vehicle, not your daily driver. It's one of those routes where you'd probably want to bring a spare CV or two, just in case. I'll definitely take on a trail like this in the future, but for now, it's not my primary goal. Going on a bit of a hike now to they call it the small waterfall. And yeah, we're walking basically on the Kloof route, but it's really intense. If you've ever seen 4x4 24/7, those Australian guys, it's something in that type of grade. I guess you would rate this a grade 5 trail. It is really intense. I mean, I looked at it before and I told my wife, you know, this is impossible. I'll never be able to do this. But that's just me being pessimistic. I'm pretty sure you can do this with my car. It's just very technical and time consuming, and you're gonna bash up some bash plates, and you might bash up your car, and you might need to replace a CV. It's one of those types of routes. We're hiking on the route and we're struggling just by hiking, but it's really cool. We are gonna enjoy this little hike, get to the waterfall, and yeah, take it easy. Man, I love being outdoors. This is outstanding. As much as we wanted to get to the waterfall, it's not gonna be feasible right now. It's not that far. It's really not a bad hike at all. We hiked through the nice forests, and that was way longer and way more intense. It's just the heat and the sun, and yeah, we are completely sunburned already and we're running low on water, so we walked quite a bit, didn't get to the waterfall, so we'll keep it on the list and we'll come back and get that done at some point. But we're gonna get back to the car now and make our way to camp. Okay, we're done. We got everything set up, mostly, even the bedding and everything's been done. I accidentally stopped the timer in my pocket, what an idiot, but let's see, because I know I did a recording when we arrived, so that's what, 42 minutes? Around 40 minutes, 42 minutes to set up camp. That's quite a long time. If we had a rooftop tent and a easy on, probably would have taken us 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So yeah, that's the difference, but I'm not going to complain because I think we have a pretty good setup. I just need to tighten all the ropes for the Bundu canopy. Alright, so why did I sell my P series? Well, we'll get to that in a bit. First of all, I'm going to cover a few things. We got married, so that was pretty cool. She's officially now wife, and we went on a honeymoon. We decided to do it was around 3,000 kilometers, maybe more. And we went from Bloem, we went to the Karoo National Park. Then we went to Longabaan area. We went then to Franschhoek, and we did a lot of driving around there. I think wife is a bit angry with me because we spent a lot of time at GWM dealerships. After that we went to Wilderness, which is close to Knysna, and that was it was an awesome experience because you walk through this dense forest. It's actually, I think it's forest biome, to be honest with you. And we went on a hike to a watering hole. It was awesome, and we saw the Knysna bird a few times. Might include a video or two of that. After that we went to, I guess it was the highlight of the trip. I think everything was awesome. Everything had its own beauty. Like the Karoo was dry, but it had its own beauty to it, which was stunning. And the night sky at the Karoo was amazing. Anyway, the last stop was Addo Elephant Park. So that was also an awesome adventure. We stayed in the chalet over there. As we entered the park, we didn't see much elephants or anything, but eventually we saw one, then we saw another one, and before we knew it, we were seeing possibly maybe hundreds of them. There's so much elephants over there, it is insane. We also had a close encounter with one of them because there's this watering hole at Arrow and all the elephants were there, and one of the elephants seemed to like the P series a bit too much. It kind of approached us and shook its head a bit, and that made us a bit uneasy because we're not really used to wildlife really, especially an elephant. So an animal that size walking towards you, it felt like it was staring us right in the eyes. So that was pretty intense, and I feel like animals got agitated with all the cars moving about. But anyway, that was an awesome adventure. From there, we went back to Langebaan to pick up this vehicle, and not Langebaan, I think we bought it in Vredenburg, and then we went back to Bloemfontein. So it was pretty crazy trying to organize a deal for this vehicle during the entire honeymoon phase. Then a bit before that, we went to Doringbos 4x4, or Doringbos, and there's a 4x4 trail there. It was for my wife's work end-year function, and that was intense. We were a convoy. I think there was a Hilux, an FJ Cruiser, a Land Cruiser. There was a Mahindra. What else was there? A D-Max, Isuzu D-Max as well. Essentially, we had a guide who was driving the Mahindra, and he took us on the trails there. And I have some footage of the whole excursion, and unfortunately I didn't get most of the intense bits because I was too busy myself. And not just me, it's wife as well. It was insane. I think we came just as we started the trail, we came across this first big dip that kind of goes into a valley, and you see the cruiser driving, and then it just disappeared. And it was I definitely pushed myself further than I ever have. That was just a great learning experience, but also really, really intense. And we had some passengers in the back, so I was trying to act confident, but really I wasn't. And at the end of the day, it was awesome, and I think that has really boosted my confidence, and the vehicle performed outstanding. There was not a single moment where I felt that I had a problem with the vehicle. I was keeping up with all the vehicles in the convoy. The only vehicle that really had a problem was the Mahindra, because it has a limited slip diff. It doesn't have a diff lock. So many times I was engaging, when I knew I was getting to an obstacle, I just push my diff lock and it comes on within seconds, and I go over the obstacle. There were some places where I felt I wanted to stop and put in low range first, and it wasn't really necessary, but I didn't want to strain the components of the vehicle at that time. So why did I sell my other vehicle? I have many reasons. The bigger reasons I would like to get into on a different video at a later stage. So I'll leave that there. But first of all, I feel like I went and did too much to it at once, with the big bumper in front and the 3mm bash plates. I think that's the two things that I've done to it that I feel I should have waited a bit. Because, for example, the big bump in the front, and it looks cool, and it's tough, and it gives you a really good approach angle, it really does influence your fuel consumption. It opens up the wheel wells, and it exposes your, my all-terrain tires to all that wind and into the wheel wells. So that really does reduce your fuel consumption, especially if you're trying to keep around 120 on highways. And some people would say it doesn't. It does. It definitely does. And I guess I grew out of the look, and I still think it looks cool, and I definitely felt it looked cool when I put it on, but I feel like I've grown out of it, and it's not so cool that I feel like I need to fit one to this car. I'm very pleased with the normal bumper that it's got on, the stock bumper, and it's got that big grille and a lot of airflow through the radiators, so the cooling is much better on this one. I feel like I would like it more simple like this, and the approach angle on this vehicle is also pretty good. Then another reason I wanted to get the LTD is because it's a limited edition, and they stopped selling the P series. This is literally one of the last LTDs available in South Africa. Now there might be one or two that's popping up here and there, but this is, I think there was maybe 7 or 8 ones that I could see on Auto Trader. So I really wanted one of these. Should I have waited for the P300? I don't know what they're going to call it in Australia, but it's the new version of the P series, or the new version of the Cannons. I feel, because it comes out with a 2.4 diesel instead of the 2 litre. It also has a 9-speed automatic transmission. So I feel like they've learnt a lot from this, and that vehicle is going to be pretty good. I mean, I can't wait to see the new 2.4 P series or Cannon that has the LTD one, the 4x4 version of that. But it didn't faze me too much. At some point I probably would look at it far in the future, or I might go to a different brand. I've really been looking at Isuzu, the Isuzu D-Max. That really seems like something that I'd get into. I do like it, but you get so much for the money with one of these cars that I couldn't turn it down. And another reason why I had to get a car now is something that would make more sense in the future video. Another reason why I went for this is everything that's on it is stock from factory, and what I mean is it's slightly lifted. It's probably due to the tires. It comes out with a bigger set of tires, so it comes out with the same size tires that I put on my old vehicle. So that's one thing. So the odometer and the computer is all already calibrated for the bigger tires. Comes with front and rear steel bumpers. Comes with recovery points. It comes with bash plates. Now the bash plates that I put onto the old car were 3mm, and they were quite solid. They were very heavy. These ones are 2mm. I think the front one is a 3mm. But I believe the rest are 2mm. They're still strong, and they have a lot of ventilation holes cut into them. They're still strong enough. It's lighter, so I like these bash plates more. It comes with a winch, which is great, and that comes into my next point, which is safety. So because it's got a better part-time four-wheel drive system, and it's got the winch, it's a safer vehicle to drive, and that's a big thing for me. And also it comes out stock with a snorkel. So on the previous vehicle, I'd occasionally clean out the air filter and spray it out, which is compressed air, whatever. And I found leaves and things in there. Now the stock air filter intake is in the side wheel well in the fender, and it should be quite sealed. Now, I don't know how leaves and things got in there, but I found leaves in there, and dust and all that. Having the snorkel has definitely improved that, because for the time I've driven this car, there's not a single thing in their intake. So it's definitely helped with this specific car. I am still not 100% convinced fitting a snorkel is a game changer. If my car does not come out with the snorkel, I probably wouldn't go out my way of fitting it. This is a raging topic on the internet, where a lot of people are saying, having the snorkel gives you cleaner, colder air, and also helps when you start going into the deeper water. All right. Having the intake in the fender, it's not the end of the world because you don't get much dust in there. I mean, when you're driving, the dust is getting blown away there. I guess it depends on how well that area is sealed. So that's a raging debate on its own and not something I want to get into right now. Oh yeah, and the limited edition just looks much better. The front end looks better. It doesn't have all that chrome and things. This car looks outstanding. I love it. This is the perfect car for me. Okay, what else is there? Well, where are we going in 2025? In 2025, you can expect many more adventures. I will be taking on a bit more tougher, longer trips and things like that. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. And yeah, I think that's for the most part what I wanted to say, and just get 2025 started so I can. And there's a lot of things that I'm not just gonna be doing adventure videos. There's a lot of other types of videos I want to bring in. I have lots of plans, and yeah, stay tuned for that, and we'll see where it goes. For now, I think I'm gonna start the fire. We are gonna get cozy and make some food, and yeah, just enjoy the evening. This is the light right here. Got our bright place going, but you change the light so that it's that orange one and that one as well, so that it doesn't attract all the bugs, and it actually works. Even Ash is getting his food. Well, that's going to be it for this video. We're excited to bring you all kinds of new content in 2025, and we can't wait to share that with you. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.